Welcome back, everybody. This is Wargamer Shawn. I'm here to bring you 8th edition Necron Codex, and it's going to be hitting the stores very quickly. You can pre-order it, hopefully, when this video goes up. Anyway, we're going to cover, this is part 6 of the review, and we're going to cover the heavy support section and the last flyer, the Doom Scythe. We're going to head right into the Annihilation Barge. It is a 12-inch move, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 3, strength 5, toughness 6, 8 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 10, 4 up save. It has a gauze cannon and a twin Tesla destructor. The twin Tesla destructor is assault 8 and strength 7 and 1 damage, but on a 6 to hit, it causes 3 hits versus 1. It's 24-inch range. The gauze cannon is heavy 3, 24-inch range, strength 6, minus 3 AP, and D3 wounds. And it can replace its gauze cannon with a Tesla cannon, which is assault 3, which is nice. Strength 6, 0 AP, 1 damage, on a hit of 6, does 3 hits instead of 1. I think this one, honestly, because when you're moving, you're hitting worse, so hitting on 4s versus 3s with heavy, that the Tesla, just making it all Tesla, may be the best way to do, because it can move 12 inches, and if it wants to, it can move, it can assault, or basically advance and still shoot, hitting in 4s, because it's all assault weapons. So I think the argument could be made that the Tesla is probably the better choice with the Annihilation Barge in this edition. It has living metal and quantum shielding. If it reduced to 0 wounds, on a 6 it explodes. Within 3 inches, and the units within 3 inches suffer just 1 mortal wound, so not as big of an explosion. The next one is a Doomsday Arc. This one is kind of the upside down Ghost Arc. It's weapon skill 6, strength 6, toughness 6, 14 wounds, leadership 10, 4 up save. On 8 to 14 wounds, it moves 12 inches, 3 ballistic skill, 3 attacks, 4 to 7 wounds, 8-inch movement, 4 plus ballistic skill, and D3 attacks, 1 to 3 wounds, 4-inch movement, 5 plus ballistic skill, and 1 attack. It has a Doomsday cannon and 2 gauze flare arrays. The gauze flare arrays are just like the Ghost Arc, rapid fire 5, 24-inch range, strength 4, AP minus 1, 1 damage. The Doomsday cannon, when attacking, you choose 1 profile. Low power, it has a 36-inch range, heavy D6, strength 8, AP minus 2, D3 damage. With the high power, it's 72-inch range, heavy D6, strength 10, minus 5 AP, D6 damage. A model can only fire the Doomsday cannon at high power if they remain stationary in its preceding movement phase. So it's probably better that thing's just sitting there and using the high power, but still, even if it moves, strength 8 isn't terrible. But then you're hitting on 4s at the very base level for ballistic skill if you move. It explodes on a 6 if it gets to 0 wounds, and within 6 inches they suffer D3 mortal wounds. Hovering, you measure distances, ranges from the model's base or from its hull, whichever is closer. And then quantum shielding it has. I've never been a super big fan of the Doomsday Arc, and I honestly don't have one built. I've proxied one to play it once, and I just was never very excited about it. It has potential in this edition. I'm not sure with a 4-up save and no jinking anymore. I don't know. With just 14 wounds, if someone concentrates fire, this thing's going to go down, and it's a lot of points to lose for that. I'm not completely sold on it. I'm actually not really completely sold on the Annihilation Barge either. And the Monolith is the other heavy support unit, but we already covered that one. Now, as far as another heavy unit, the Transcendent Satan is movement 8 inches, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2, strength and toughness 7, 8 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 10, 4 plus save. It's a single model. It has crackling tendrils, which is strength of the user minus 4 AP, D6 wounds. It has a 4-up invuln. It knows 2 powers, and it can use 1 power at the end of each of its movement phases. If it's reduced to 0 wounds on a 4+, the Necrodermis explodes, basically, and anything within 3 inches suffers D3 mortal wounds. It can never have a Warlord trait, so don't make it your Warlord. It has a fractured personality, so before the battle you can pick one of the abilities opposite to apply for this model for the duration of the battle, or you can roll a 2d6 to randomly determine 2 abilities to apply to them for this model for the duration of the battle. So I actually think the 2d6 is nice because you get 2 random powers, but I suppose if you really wanted something, you could pick it. It has a roll of a 1, Cosmic Tyrant. This model can use 2 different powers of Satan at the end of each of your movement phases instead of 1. That's really good. Immune to Natural Law. You can add 1 to saving throws made for this model. So it would have a 3-up save and a 3-up invulnerable save. That's really good. Sentient Necrodermis. This model regains D3 wounds at the start of each of your turns. Transdimensional Displacement. When this model advances, add 12 to the movement characteristics for the movement phase instead of rolling a dice, which is good. Entropic Touch. You can reroll failed wound rolls for this model in the fight phase. Writhing Worldscape. Enemy units do not receive a bonus to their saving throws for being in cover while they're within 12 inches of this model. I mean, all of these are really good. I could see you might want to pick the +1 to the save to just guarantee have that and make him a pretty hard guy to kill. I mean, there's definitely argument for that, but I definitely think that I'll probably be running this guy in this edition because I think he's pretty good. Now, let's go to the other heavy supports I think you're really going to see a lot. The Heavy Destroyers. It's a 1-man unit, but it can have up to 2 additional Heavy Destroyers. So you can have 3 altogether. They have Heavy Gauze Cannons. They're movement 10, 3 ballistic skill, weapon skill, strength 4, toughness 5, wounds 3, 2 attacks, 10 leadership, 3+ save. They have reanimation protocols. The Heavy Gauze Cannon is heavy 1, strength 9, and it's AP -4, D6 damage. I mean, this is just a hitter in this edition, and I think that the infantry are sometimes better than the vehicles in this edition, and I think you're going to see Heavy Destroyers a lot. At least I think you will. I think they're just great. They have Hardwired Hatred. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 for this unit. They have the Repulsor platform, so they can fire heavy weapons even if they move and not suffer the penalty. So they're just great. Canoptic Spiders. They move 6 inches. They have a weapon skill 4, strength toughness 6, 4 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 10, 3+ save. This unit is 1 spider, but it can have up to 2 additional spiders. And then it's equipped with automaton claws, which are melee, strength of the user, strength 6, -2 AP, D3 wounds, which is good. I don't think he's a great one. I mean, he's only hitting on weapon skill 4 in close combat. He can take a particle beamer, or sorry, 2 particle beamers, which is assault 3, so it'd be 6 shots, 24-inch range, strength 6, AP 0, damage 1. It can take a gloom prison, and it can take a fabricator array, and even if you have 3 in the unit, you can mix and match, or 1 can take 1. That doesn't matter. The fabricator claw at the end of your movement phase, a model equipped with a fabricator array can repair a single dynasty vehicle within 1 inches of it. That model regains D3 wounds lost earlier in the battle, and it can only be repaired once per turn this way. The Gloom Prism is a model equipped with the Gloom Prism can attempt to deny a psychic test in the same manner as a psyker. I think the Gloom Prism is worth it because there's not a lot of psychic defense for Necrons. Scarab Hive. At the beginning of your turn, you can roll a d6 for each Dynasty Canoptic Scarab unit from your army that is below starting number of models within 6 inches of the Canoptic Spider. On a 1, one of these Canoptic Spider units within 6 inches of the unit being rolled for suffers a mortal wound. On a 2 up, the Canoptic Spider's units within 6 inches of the unit being rolled for unleashes reinforcements. Return a Canoptic Swarm to the depleted unit and unit coherency and more than an inch away from enemy units. If you cannot do this, then it can't be placed. I'm assuming you have to pay points for this if you're playing, point-wise games, match play. Although you are returning stuff that's missing already, and I guess with some of these other reanimation stuff, maybe it doesn't count. Maybe you just can do it. So I think there's potential for using these guys to help replace depleted scarabs. It's not going to generate a ton like it used to, where it just add to the unit in previous editions. But I thought that was a little stupid the way that worked. So that is the heavy support. Let's cover the Doom Scythe. That's another flyer. Weapon skill 6, strength toughness 6, 12 wounds, leadership 10, 3-up save. 7 to 12 wounds, it can move 20 to 60 inches. 3 ballistic skill, 3 attacks. 4 to 6 wounds, 20 to 40 inch move. 4 plus ballistic skill, D3 attacks. 1 to 3 wounds, 20 to 25 inch move. 5 plus ballistic skill, 1 attack. It has living metal, airborne, so it can't be charged by anything other than units that can fly. And it is a -1 to hit in the shooting phase. Supersonic, it can pivot up to 90 degrees, but then it has to move straight. If it's reduced to 0 wounds on a roll of a 6, it crashes and burns. Miles within 6 inches suffer D3 mortal wounds. So it has a death ray and 2 Tesla destructors. Tesla destructors are 4 shots, 24 inch range, so you got 8 shots is strength 7. 1 damage, 0 AP, but on a roll of a 6 it gets 3 hits instead of 1. The death ray is a 24 inch range, heavy D3, strength 10, AP -4, D6 damage. I wish this thing had something to kind of help so it wasn't getting hurt by shooting the heavy D3. I'm not so sold on the death ray this edition. I do have a Doom Scythe. I don't know how often I'm going to run it, but it's not terrible. Anyway, that is all the units for the new Necron Codex. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review of the 8th edition Necron Codex. My closing thoughts, I do think what I previously heard kind of as a rumor before, I do think this is a good codex. Is it super competitive? I don't know. Probably not, but I'm actually fine with that. I still think it's good. I think it got some more teeth compared to the Index, which it needed. I think it's got some neat plays. Hopefully this makes the Necron players happy and they can do a lot more with their army and have fun. The command points are going to be something to get used to, and it'll be a lot of fun. I think this is going to be a fun army to play. Hopefully the Necron people that play Necrons got what they wanted to out of the Codex. You can always want more, obviously, but I still think it's a decent Codex, and I'm happy with it. So hopefully you enjoy it too. Hopefully you would enjoy the tutorial. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. And until next time, keep on wargaming, guys.
Goodbye, you sexy motherfucker.